Go. Okay, here we are live on Saturday Night Live Zoom. What are we at? February 16th. I keep losing track of these dates. Already in February, spring's around the corner for us. And what are you guys coming up with? Winter, Ranjit?
Fall.
Fall?
Yeah, we'll call it autumn here, but yeah, it's
autumn.
Fall.
Yeah.
But it's not, in Brisbane, there is no autumn.
So yeah, it's as we were saying, this is one of the key elements of being able to master and thrive on this type of lifestyle, is connecting with people continuously, living the lifestyle. And if you don't have any in your circumference surroundings of your environment, you're most likely going to go down some challenging roads, and you're going to be pulled back with all the triggers around you. And that's why a support system is absolutely vital. Sharing is vital. It's one of the key ingredients of mastering this type of lifestyle of less is more. Yeah. The art of subtraction. If you're continuously surrounding yourself with old triggers of people that all they do is eat and drink, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be drawn to that. We see it day in and day out. It never fails. We've all been through it, and we have to look at these things because it's not something that is supported out there. This lifestyle, it's just not supported. It's look, a few people have put themselves into mental institutes. They got put into mental institutes because they were fasting. Like, how insane is that? My goodness, talk about slavery. There's no other way to describe it. It's total slavery, outright slavery. Being forced to do something against your will. And, if you're not adept at understanding your inalienable rights, they will take advantage of it. You won't have any rights. So in these circumstances, always, be prepared and know what to say. Contract law, that's what supersedes everything in this realm. Legalese crap. So if you ever get into that situation, put them on notice. You have a user agreement fee schedule, and say that have them sign a waiver that they are under full commercial liability for anything they do to you against your will. And you see how fast they back off, because nobody can force you to do anything against your will. Nobody can do that. But it's being done because people allow it to happen. That's all it is. They allow it to happen. So let's focus on the better things and the good stuff, because
it usually happens when people are not strong enough emotionally, and they can be forced by someone to seek assistance and help when they don't want to. But I feel that usually they're not strong enough emotionally. I feel these are the people who are not strong enough. Their belief system is kind of shaky, and they're in doubt. And it's best to do it slowly. If you feel like you're not strong enough, you have doubts, then do it slowly. You don't have to do 40 days of master fast or more. Do less, start changing your diet, incorporate fasting, until your belief system changes. And as you become stronger, everybody around you will understand. They will know that you're doing the right thing. And the first, when we do 108 days and it's a big change, they might get scared, But I'm sure after the first 108 days, the next fasts are usually easier on the person and the people around the person as well. It's usually, I feel when the person is not emotionally strong enough to deal with the big changes, they can be manipulated and they can be forced to do things against their will. So do it slowly. If you feel like it's too much of a change and too many forces around you are going against you, then do it slowly. It just means that you're not ready emotionally. You're not there yet. You're not confident enough.
Well, the main thing is that people have no idea how powerful it is to be on a full MFS. They just have no clue. Like they'll start pushing their dries way beyond what we recommend and so on and so forth. Oh, I feel great and everything. And before you know it, they're drowning in their own filth and they hit a wall. And then they're crying to get out of that situation.
And the other thing is like after the fast.
Well, that's in a whole nother ballgame. I'm talking about on the fast itself already.
Yeah.
So, this is why we, after, I underestimated how toxic and how plugged up humanity was. So we tightened things up as we've seen people going through and understanding how plugged up people are. Way more than I ever believed. So after seeing that for a few years, we had tightened everything up because people misunderstood what we were saying. And I used to always say, the more dry fasting, the more aggressive the fast. But what did people do? They did more dry fasting. They didn't listen to everything else. You need to be prepared. You need to be doing this for 2-3 years. You need to acclimatize yourself slowly. They jumped in more dry fasting because more dry fast is more aggressive. And
yeah, we are very strict now.
You're gonna hit a wall, and maybe that 1 or 2 people might not hit a wall. They can get away with it, but why risk yourself? What's there? There's no race. There's no race. Let's take this one day at a time. Plan your next 9 years. Plan it. Gradually increasing your dry fast.
Yeah, what's harder than doing longer dry fasting is to be consistent. If you want to change yourself with being consistent. That's the challenging part. Yeah.
That's what most people I do not see do. They jump in and they're gone for a year, jump in, they're gone, they go back to their old ways, jump in. And the consistency, persistence, and that's the key to mastering it. And that's very, very, very few that are actually doing it like that. But if you want to master it, you need to live the lifestyle. And the most important parts is between the fast. That's where most people have the challenges. So that's what we have to work with. And if you finish your master fast and then you're gone off the page and you're out living your life the way you used to be, more than likely you're going to go back to your old ways, just like we've been talking about. You're going to be all around those old triggers.
Yeah, and it's not, in a way it's normal. Nothing crazy about this, but make an effort. Make an effort to be on the Facebook, to maybe watch the Zooms if you can, if you can spend 2 hours, you say these 2 hours are for me and I'm going to surround myself by people who are doing the lifestyle so I can reinforce the information. It makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference to make the time to stay on course, to stay on track. Even if you are not doing amazing, at least just be around, so you can understand that this is normal, what you're going through. This is normal, and I'm not gonna give up, and I will stand up and continue, maybe make a new plan that is maybe easier so I can stay on track. But whatever it is, just make a lifestyle plan. And don't give up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, and
it's not easy to change your lifestyle. That's not easy.
no,
It's
going through a
not easy for
metamorphosis.
us. It's not easy for anyone, I don't think.
The road is simple, but the actual process is very difficult for people to accept the massive changes. It's too overwhelming for the
change,
the big changes that come with when you go through a long fast, and it's very dramatic compared to living, you know, a lifestyle of eating 7 days a week, 3 meals a day, or whatever.
Yeah. From
you know,
complex to very simple, and then you go back to complex. You know, you're not gonna like it. You know, you want the simplicity again, the purity.
So this is the importance of connecting with soul, and give yourself that time, whatever time every day.
Prayer, yeah.
You spend it on yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody's going to give you the time for yourself. We have to do it for each one of ourselves. We have to spend that time for ourselves, and that's very, very important. And you know, when we're in the fast, we're structured to do certain things. Those are the times we're spending on ourselves. And then when we go back to food, we let go of all that, and we're back to our old triggers.
It's easy to let go. Yeah.
So these are the challenges, because we're not spending that time on ourselves. Just as we're going through these long, you know, fasts, you know, just go through your memory if you've already done it, and think about how you felt going through all that, and how light and joyful and clear-minded and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then when you go back on food, and you know, okay, we love to eat, but that feeling subsides when every bite we take. I don't care what you eat, even fruit, right? You know,
yeah, there's addiction for sure.
The worse we eat, the worse we're gonna feel. But
and Ranjit, you did a great job by, you know, you said I went back to watch my video. That's great. Yeah, that you learn a lot from just going back to the video. Yeah. And reading, like understanding your thoughts, or going over notes that you made, and you can make a better plan, even stronger plan, you know.
Yeah, that was very, actually, because I remember when I went on the Q&As with you, my soul said to do that, told me to share, because for expansion, and I went okay, so I just agreed with it. But I didn't realize that me being in the eating phase, because it's 2 months now since I'm still in my break, that I didn't realise that there's been days and even couple of weeks where it's been a challenge. And last night I was actually quite emotional, and I went through, I probably watched 3 videos, you know, but they're of me talking, but it was like, it was just so surreal, because it was like what I needed to hear, hearing you guys as well. It was the most enlightening experience, because I was a little bit down and I needed a lift up, and it was me giving myself a lift up. Very powerful, extreme. And I didn't even realize I said that stuff. So it was like,
when we're in that state, it's so simple, easy to connect. And then when you go on food, you know, you think about it, my goodness, what's going on? You know, like, where's that flow?
Yeah, it's not flowing.
I want that feeling back.
Yeah, where's my head? Where's my clarity?
You know, it's just, you know, when people are saying food doesn't matter, okay, sure. You've never experienced what we've experienced.
Yeah. You'll understand what food does to you when you start fasting.
And I think you guys probably already know this, is the sensitivity that you have emotionally in your body, because you're so clean. So the food and the emotional trigger are connected. So when you eat, it's like this whole emotion comes up, because you feel the food going into your body. You don't want it to be there. I don't care, fruit, or even if you're fasting, juices, even like, it's like everything. And you just don't want it to be there. And you know, I don't have a hate relationship with food, but what it is, it's like, why am I eating? Like,
I don't.
And it's because the soul's told me that it wants me to experience this. So I understand when I go on my 180 days, which I'm going to next weekend, and I'm so excited about it, is that I know the difference, and I've wrote down. And the other thing too, I have to remember things. I'm trying to remember. I'm not into the physical stuff or the health stuff for the fasting. It's all spiritual, but I'm trying to write down all my physical elements and everything, so I remember, because I don't remember when I'm in my fasting state. I'm in a whole different focus.
It's just you can never describe what you go through. It's an impossibility. Like, this is why almost 3 decades I'm still fasting, because there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that comes close to the state spiritually, how you feel when you're on a fast. Right, Steve? It's just,
yeah, I'm finding that.
It's just, wow, man. Like, whoa. There's nothing that is getting in the way of that connection. Absolutely nothing. And, when you're starting off, for a lot of people, it's going to be challenging because of the healing reactions. It's going to be really challenging. And the emotional healing reactions are the ones that are the challenges. The physical ones, yeah, okay, heart palpitation, feel like you're going to die and all that, but it's all the emotion. It's never going to, the physical is the easy stuff. It's the emotion stuff and the belief system that starts to kick in and starts that monkey mind. Oh, you're going to die, you're going to this, you're going to that, you're blah, 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 and it never stops. And some people will listen to that and get themselves in trouble when they listen to that, because they're not trusting in soul. And that's the key, trusting in soul. Forget who am I? I'm nobody. Forget what I'm talking about. I can only speak for myself, and I can only do for myself, and that's why I continue to fast.
Well,
3 decades later.
I find Master Fast Protocol, the way it's written, for newbies, I think it's very simple.
Oh.
Like, I mean, it's simple. You don't, you're detoxing, but it's, for most people, honestly, I think it's easy for most people. The hardest part, of course, when you start your first 3-day dry fast. And we tell people, if you can do 3 days, do less than 3 days a month. But that's the hardest part on the massive fast, I feel.
3 days, like probably about 70% of people have no problem with 3-day fast, right off the bat. You have that 30%.
It's still, if it's your first one, it's going to be hard.
First one.
Yeah, I felt I was dying the first one.
Yeah, you wanted 30%.
I felt like I was dying. But, I just listened to Gino and followed the, the instructions. Yeah. And if it was too much, I would go and break my fast. And before I know it, I have a big worm come out of me at 60 hours. I think that was my second 3-day. At a big, huge worm, absolutely stinking smell, and it's just boom, or everything came out, and bile probably, I don't know, it was extremely toxic. No wonder I felt like I was dying. I mean, the stuff that came out, you feel like, how can I be alive with this stuff inside? It is mind blowing, this stuff.
It's amazing that we can. What's the word I'm looking for? We can abuse our body day in and day out for years and years and years and years and years and survive it. It boggles my mind how the human body, how magnificent that it can take that punishment decade after decade after decade and still survive. Thriving, there's not many people thriving. They're on stimulants. People are living on stimulants. All food is stimulating. And then they get into the stronger stimulants, the synthetics, the extracts, and the isolates, and all that crap, and it goes on and on and on. But
and the drugs that we have taken, and this, everything.
All the frequencies that were being bombarded now. Everybody, I call them the butterfly people. Raise your frequency. Raise your frequency. Been hearing that for decades. What are you guys talking about? We're being bombarded with high frequencies. You don't want to raise your frequency. You're focusing on, I was talking this on Wednesday, you're focusing in matter state. Frequencies are limited to matter state. If you play in matter state, you're going to plateau and you're going to get in trouble. You're going to spiral out to confusion. We want to lower our frequency, be in tune with nature and the universal frequency, which my understanding without doubt, for me, is 432. And all creation is within that frequency. If you're talking about matter, that frequency is the only one that holds it all. Anything that you extract from that whatever other frequencies, it's like an extraction of an isolated of chemistry. Think about it that way. You're extracting from the whole, and it's stimulating. That's why people, oh yeah, frequencies, you can use them for healing and you can use them for killing.
Yeah.
They do use it. We've done quite a few experiments, and one of my friends almost died through playing with frequencies. So when I say, just play with 432, because you don't need to know the other stuff. We don't understand it. I don't care how intellect somebody is. We're never going to understand all these frequencies. So let's go with what the universe and nature is using. We're safe. You're 100% safe. All the animals and everything on default, the human voice is in 432. So you can argue all you want about all your intellectual.
I think, when people say vibration and frequency, I think it's the flow. Maybe it's just a different way of expressing it.
No, everybody's talking about raising the frequencies. Let's get in the fifth dimension, whatever. I don't have all the answers, but my understanding through my experiences, that's all I can speak. I can't speak of anything else. When I speak, I only speak of my experiences. And we did a lot of experiments for over a 2-year span, the three of us. A lot of experiments. And 432, not only was it completely safe, it was mind-boggling of things we've seen with it, especially with children. My goodness. It just brings balance back.
It's like plasma.
So, it's always seeking balance. Plasma. I've shared the 432 image last week, I think it was. If you've seen that triangle bluish image, if you blow that up and look at it, it's like angels holding hands.
Or humans.
Right around, or human, whatever. But I can stare at that image and I'll never get tired of it. There's so much information in that. Actually, let me put it this way. All knowledge, all creation is within that image. If you look at that, you can access anything you want. That's the way I understand it. That image. One of my friends who introduced me to 432, and he was studying it at that time for like 25 years. So now it's at least well over 30 years, 3 decades. He had emailed John Stuart Reed in England, who has a Simoscope. He developed a Simoscope, which is a device that makes frequencies visual. And they were using it for all kinds of things to visually see what, for example, dolphins were how they were communicating and so on and so forth. This thing's pretty amazing. So you put a frequency in it and you can visually see what this frequency looks like. Anyway, my friend sends this guy an email. This is several years ago, mid-2000, 2006, 2007, around there. I can't remember exactly, but sends him an email, asks him, John, have you ever imaged 432 hertz? He sends him an email back, no. And then it was maybe a week or so later, he sends him an email. I think I still have the email somewhere. And he sends him that image, the 432 image, with a note saying, we put 432 in, and we thought the Simoscope was broken, because the image that came out, we've never seen it before. And so we ended up bringing in another Simoscope that we had in another town to make sure. And the image came out the same every time.
And what does he think about it?
And he goes, the thing was absolutely fascinating because it was pulsating and it looked like it was living. And it was, they said it was actually looks like it was alive, it was living. And he went on with some other stuff, but I've had at least 3 different people that were clairvoyant that I showed them that image, and every single one said, without me saying anything, my goodness, that has a heartbeat. 3 different, at least 3. It may have been 4, I can't remember, but 3 for sure that I remember. all without me saying anything. I showed them that image, and they said it had a heartbeat, because it does. It's the beat of divine. So, you know, when you have that thing, you know, around you, that you feel the balancing effect from it. It's just so powerful. But anyway, that image is so powerful. It's so powerful. I don't know. I look at the frequency thing, the same thing as I do with diets. People are looking for those instant gratification things, stimulus. They want to feel instantly. They want to feel like you know what drugs do. Bang, they give you that. That's what they're not willing to put in the time, whatever it takes to do, you know, all that. They're not willing. They just want instant gratification, and there's no such thing. It's those things are only going to spiral you out to imbalances and confusion more and more and more. So, from my experience, it's the safest thing to do is stay with 432. If you're going to use any frequencies, and I'm going to assure you, you won't have any challenges with it. I've seen miracles. I've seen two guys that we put the image on them, and they were stuttering, and they stopped stuttering immediately, and they were in shock because they couldn't understand by us putting a stupid image on them as a sticker how they stopped stuttering. Another woman that was cross-eyed.
I have to go.
Yeah, you got to go, Steve?
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm at a retreat this weekend.
Okay, awesome.
And I have an event starting in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Very spiritual place. A lot of emotions are coming up.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's great.
Enjoy.
I'll see you all next week. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So yeah, I was talking about the woman that was cross-eyed. I put this image. She goes, well, what do we do with this? I go, well, most people, you know, women will put it in their bra on their heart. What? I go, yeah, I'm not going, do it yourself. I'm not going to do it for you. So turned around. As soon as she turned around, I seen her eyes straighten out. And I was kind of in a shock because I thought I was seeing something that was not real. And then she goes, I feel my eyes straightened out. Did my eyes straighten out? And I go, yeah, because I thought I was seeing things. So, you know, these are things, some of the things we've seen, little miracles happen. With children, we tried balancing things, and it was extremely amazing to see how much more in balance they were when we put that image on them. And one guy had ended up going to do, what was it, knee replacement surgery. And the guy was walking the same day. The surgeon couldn't believe what he was doing. And he's asking my friend who gave it to him, could it be the image that I was wearing? So, you know, if you're wearing that image and the surgeon is doing work on you, guess what? There's balance. You have a better chance. We've tried it on athletes. Every single athlete that was wearing the image, we did a blind test. A blind test, like a very correct blind test. We had 3 envelopes. One envelope had nothing in it, just a piece of paper cut out the same size. Another one had the image, and then another one had something else I can't remember. So we had 3 different things in 3 different envelopes, and every single person performed better only with the one that had the image in it, and nobody knew which one had the image in it. So like I'm saying, we when we did experiments, we did a lot, and we could see clearly the 432 is so balancing, and there's absolutely no negative effects from like you get from stimulants. As I was discussing Wednesday, if you have ever experienced going to a loud concert, especially like a rock concert or something, and people who have gone will understand this. The next day you feel like you're hungover. You just wiped out. Because I have a friend of mine, I've got a few friends, but one of my friends who's lead singer in a rock band, and he was wiped out the next day, especially if they had to do 2 nights in a row. He'd be completely wiped out, like like complete hungover. When they switched to 432, that problem was solved. No more problem. Another friend that we introduced, he's in a band to 432. He was going touring in China, and he said, "My goodness," he goes, in 432, he goes, "We could do 7 days a week, no problem." He goes, "When we were tuned in 440, he goes 2-3 nights a week, and we were ruined." It's because the stress factor. You're raising your vibration. Yeah, you feel good. And it's just putting your body in dissonance, in stress. You feel great, just like a drug. Take some cocaine. Ah, yeah, you're feeling great. And what does it do for you after when you come down? This is how stimulants work. So we don't want stimulants. We want to work with the balancing of creation itself. Plasma is always seeking balance. That 432 image is plasma. It's plasma. It's always seeking balance. And that's why it's so powerful to work with that beautiful divine 9 number. So I get excited about it because all the stuff from the memory starts coming through, how many things we've done with it. But, you know, it was very scary that time. My friend almost died from a couple of frequencies that we had experimented. It was eye-opening. It was unreal. We go, why? My goodness. Now we understand the power of what these people are doing out there with all these frequencies they're bombarding us with. And they want to bring 5G now worldwide, planet-wide. If you don't have dry fast in your lifestyle, I feel sorry for you. Because that's the only armor, well, not armor.
Way of cleansing.
Yeah, because your defense, the only defense mechanism we have is dry fasting. Dry fasting will bring you to balance. Only dry fasting. Everything else is a facade. That's why we call master fast the glorified dry fast. But you can't be dry fasting 24 hours, 7 days a week until you've mastered the art of subtraction. It could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that we don't know. And some people may never get to that stage, and it doesn't matter. But we can continuously integrate it into our lifestyle, so we can use it and benefit from it tremendously. The squeeze, wash, squeeze, wash, squeeze, wash, squeeze, wash, squeeze, wash. That's what we're doing. That's our lifestyle. And if we don't have that squeeze, what are we doing? We're obstructing. If we're eating 7 days a week, we're obstructing 7 days a week. If we only have that little window of 8 hours sleep every night that we're not eating or digesting, whatever, and some people go to bed with a full stomach, so they don't even get 8 hours, because in those 8 hours, your body's working all night trying to digest the food. So if that's all you have, you just have no chance. And that's why when people start doing these long MFSs, they start seeing miracles of old injuries starting to correct themselves, bones straightening out, this, that, because their body just never had a chance to do that. It couldn't connect to the blueprint. Once you connect to your blueprint, trusting in soul, then you start seeing that magic unfold. And so many have shared their magic, their experiences, because of giving the digestive system a long vacation. And this is all about connecting with soul. It has nothing to do with anything else. Everything else is a facade, guys. All the juice, the herbs, isn't that? The herbs, those elevated, beautiful friends, they are truly a blessing, and it's an honor that we can use them, because they are much more elevated than humans. They are showing us in plain sight that you don't need to eat. Just look around. Do you see them eat?
And they are helping us.
They're working on fields. So
and they're helping us come out of.
Yeah, they're here to help us wake up. And once we wake up, we'll get to the point where we don't have to use them anymore, because we'll be eating so little, and your body will be most part obstruction free. You know, it'll just be dealing on minimal obstructions from whatever in the small amounts of foods that it's easily able to handle, and it won't be on a building state. It'll keep on that balance state. And this takes decades, you know, and who cares? Who cares? It's a lifestyle.
Who knows? I mean, it might take less than decades. It depends what we do, right?
Yeah, Ranjit, listen to 432 every day. On note, never get tired of it. Triggers me to do. Yeah, it's just, it's so soothing and so balancing when you listen to anything in 432. My sister's an opera singer. We've done tests on several singers. My sister, whenever she would have to go do an opera, she would have to warm up for hours, tuned in 440 for hours so she wouldn't strain the vocal cords. When we introduced her to 432, it blew her away because Giuseppe Verdi, he was an Italian opera composer. He was an advocate of 432, and when I started mentioning it to her, she was blown away. But anyway, we did a test on her, and then she found in 432 she didn't have to warm up at all. She can hit the notes, bang, 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 bang. Do I need a science lab and machinery to tell me that 432 is the one I should be using? Some people need that, but I don't need that because answers are in plain sight. When you see that you don't need a warm up for 432 and you do with 440 or anything higher than that, come on, wake up. The answers are in plain sight. It's all the animals kingdom, they're tuned into 432, all the sounds they make.
That's the universal.
So I don't know how this 432 came up, but it's an exciting thing because it connects us
It's the original frequency,
it's the number of creation. 432 is the number of creation.
Also, the old music used to be the classic music.
At some point, some of it, yeah, but some of it was around in and around that area. Not exactly 432, but a lot of it was close to that, which automatically, like the ancient, I think Tibetan, what do they call them, the bowls and stuff, they're all 432, and they didn't have nothing to measure. It's just a connection. It's there.
I know
we don't have to measure.
I know also the call for prayers in Islam are 432 as well. And that's nobody knew it's 432. They just tested it and it was 432. And
it's sure, within us. It's part of us.
You're saying the animals are also 432?
Yeah, it's like a drug addict. I'm just give an example. They feel great when they're doing their drugs. Get them off their drugs. They don't feel good. Give them drugs. They feel great. So for them, their drug is their God. and it's furthest thing from the truth. Because you don't need anything to feel balanced and good. And that's the illusion of spiraling outwards, looking for something that's going to bring you the balance instead of going within on nothing. Once you start mastering going within, then you'll start to understand and start seeing the answers are in plain sight for you. I can't give you your answers. It's an impossibility. There's just no way.
We can help each other.
Yeah, we can guide each other and share experiences. And that's very, very helpful, especially when we're living around everybody that's spiraling outwards and we're trying to spiral inwards. So as we spiral inwards, we're helping everybody else. That's how we bring balance to the planet. We can't force anything upon anybody, but we can, by working on ourselves, we're helping with everybody else because we're all connected. And if you don't understand that.
Yeah, the best way to help someone is to help yourself, right? So
that's the way we do it. Yeah. But it's so much fascinating things. So frequencies, I don't bother with them. A lot of people are using them for healing and all kinds of things. The Reich, was it Reich? Not Reich. The Reich thing that they used all the frequencies and stuff. You're playing with matter state. It's it looks like they help you, but they're creating dissonance in the body. It's just like you're taking mineral supplements or vitamins. They seem like they're helping you. Take them away, and what happens? The body's imbalanced. The body can never be balanced by taking in external things. This I have a knowing firsthand through all these years, and that was the biggest revelation, and it was the biggest revelation for me of all the years I was caught in the trap of the intellectual illusion, looking for something that my body needed, which was a shock to find out absolutely nothing. And the water thing, how many years I researched water to find out don't even drink it anymore. That was the biggest wake-up call for me, and a shock because of how much time and effort I put into water alone.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, no, we don't need any water, none. So, the answers are in plain sight. We've had some people that came through MasterFast that were drinking up to 2 gallons of water a day, and all of a sudden they're not drinking any water, and they couldn't believe the difference. 2 gallons a day. I reached up to those levels almost. It's just being in the bathroom every 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It was insanity living that life. Kidneys are stressed out to the max. No kidding. I couldn't find any relief with my kidneys, putting all that fluid through my body. So, it's just the mysteries of the universe and how it plays with us, and it's once it reveals its answers, we just have to laugh because it was all a wonderful lesson. Even though it took me 3 decades, it was wonderful. All those pain and suffering and misery that I went through, it was a wonderful experience to come out and find that we have a much better understanding and a knowing now. And we, without doubt, we know what to do now to regenerate. We know what to do. Stop eating for a long time. And just support things and allow the process of removing the obstructions. That's all we're doing, is we're supporting the process of removing obstructions. That's all MasterFast is doing. And it's being done intelligently because we've been bombarding ourselves artificially for so long that the body is is such an obstructive state. It's not a simple thing to remove these things. And the most difficult one, and we've talked about it earlier, is emotion, because that's where it all comes from. You have chemicals in your body that are causing a blockage. Why are those chemicals in your body? It's because of an emotion. Look back, trace back. What caused those things to go into the body? Emotion. Emotion is seed.
It could be also like physical toxicity.
Whatever, wherever you are, if you're in an area, why are you there? What brought you to that situation?
The food,
everything, yeah, it's all related.
And this affects your emotions. So physicality affects your emotions, and emotions affect your physicality as well.
Answers are in plain sight. The more I see people going through MFS, the more and more clarity I get, as well as from me going through the fast. Like, the more and more clarity comes through, because as you're connecting with beautiful souls that are on the path, that connection, the revelation, and the answers in plain sight become more clear. And we can't explain this, so you just need to experience it. Look how many people come on the calls, a handful.
Mm-hmm. But many people watch it after.
Yeah, they watch it after, but there's not the same connection. You're not interacting. You can just listen. But the sharing, the art of subtraction,
connection more than anything.
is the gift of giving, of creation itself. Without the giving, without the act of giving, there's no creation. And sharing is the act of giving. That's the way I see it. I could be all wrong. I don't know anything.
You're definitely right, Gino. You are definitely right, because you have to be connected, and you have to throw, well, especially if you're going into this for the first time, I would say.
Like
the 108 days.
How do you feel, Ranjit? 1 sec. How do you feel when you share?
It comes from my gut and out, so I feel elated, and because I tap into the zone, it's even better. So you get even now I get the goosebumps, right?
Right.
It comes very quickly, so you know you're doing the right thing. But what happens afterwards, because you don't realize that the giving of the soul gives back, and it actually gives back so much more that you just go, how come I had my 108 days so easy? It was literally easy for me. I know other people say it's not easy, but it was easy because it was just beautiful. There was just no, the mind was gone, and I was in the presence, and I had that beautiful part in the middle was just divine. Like, how can you not get back in? That's all I want to be, is in that. And I don't think if I didn't share, because the more I shared, the more was given to me.
Exactly.
It just keeps, and even while eating, the spiral in, it just happens so quick, and it's fast. It's a suddenly. Everything's a suddenly. Your body just fixes itself because you're giving and sharing. The soul goes in there. It just fixes itself. You don't even have to worry about any health element ever, because it just does it. Trust in it, surrender, throw yourself in it. Don't confuse the mind about, is this happening, that happening, because the mind just there to, put you off again. And, it's just beautiful, Gina. I can't wait to start my 180 days. I just am so, every week.
When are you starting? Sorry?
I'm going to start next weekend. I was going to start the 1st of March.
Yeah.
I'm going to starting on a 3-day drive, and just easy.
Nice.
I just go into it.
Yeah. Much easier than eating. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is, because you don't have to buy. And that's the other thing about costs. Is okay, you buy the herb, you get everything right, but it's actually cost neutral, because you're not, as you know, it's the other side. You don't buy toilet paper. For women,
humans are the only species that use toilet paper, right?
And you don't buy much deodorant. Forget it. You don't have to brush your teeth. I just actually don't still stink, which is quite interesting. While I was eating, I thought I might stink, but I don't. Don't sweat as much and don't stink. So your hair products, all that, you add it all up, and then you don't go to social occasions. If you do, you're not going to buy the ticket to buy the food and all that. So it's actually cost neutral. Like it cost you anything. It's negative, because
Yeah, and also it's a holistic. It's like lifestyle of less is more. So you feel like, I don't need to buy this. I don't need it. I would rather save my money for something that's more important. So you start.
And you're so balanced with your emotions, so you don't go out shopping as much. So you're not buying as many clothes. Less is more. So you just automatically fall into that. Less is more.
Minimalist lifestyle. Yeah, more focused, more minimalist. You just do whatever you want to do, not whatever you feel like you're. Yeah, like we affect each other out there. People are shopping and this and that, buying this. So you start, you start just focusing on what matters to you. I don't mind shopping, but what matters? If it matters, I would buy it. If I don't care about it, I'm not gonna buy it, like I used to in the past.
And now when I fast, I don't fast for me anymore. Like what you said before, Gina and Rana, I don't fast for me. I fast for people around me. Because when you realise that the fasting is you're doing it for yourself first, you want to get better, get in the bliss zone and everything, but then you see it work. This is what happens with the sharing. Then you see it work on other people. You don't have to say anything. It just works. Then you realise that you're not doing it for you at all. If you want to have a purpose or a calling, fast.
Yeah. Fasting, it's not looked upon in high regard in modern science and medicine and so on and so forth, and the masses have not been brought up to understand what fasting is. But if you look at most of all the spiritual gurus from the past, they all spoke about fasting. Why?
Yeah, for sure.
Forget about the matter stuff. Spirit. It's they all pretty much every single one of them talk about fasting.
But yeah, the medical doctors are catching up.
Yeah, okay. Regenerate your whole immune system in 3 days. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, I know, but like everybody's talking about it, fasting. Many people are fasting, so now maybe they are fasting themselves.
They're not fasting. They're not half
yet.
of them are not. And the other thing, they're not doing it properly, and they have something happens to them, and they stop because the paradigm gets in there.
Yeah.
And the other thing, right, Gina, I believe you when you said the few do this. And I used to get upset because many people don't do this, especially people in our group. Like I get a bit upset, like I'm thinking, oh, please do it. You know, it's going to change your life and your family's life. But the thing is, it's okay. It's okay for the few to do it, because the pioneers, it's fine, and it's all right if the masses don't come. It's okay, because the timing of those things happen whenever I think the consciousness is ready and things. So it's okay, you know.
Yeah, let's look at the elite of the elite athletes. Listen to their stories of what they go through to get to that state. How many people are going to do that? Not many, and that's why they're the elite of the elite. They're doing whatever it takes, no matter what, no matter how long it takes to get to that state. And that's what we're talking about in a fasting lifestyle. If you want to be an average eater?
Yeah.
You can do that, because that's what everybody's doing. You don't need no effort. Just follow the sheeple. Follow the masses, and you'll be in that state. But if you want to be in a wonderful, balanced, and spiritually connected state where you're eating just for fun occasionally, you're going to have to do some work for a few decades.
You're got to be
not 108 days. 108 days opens those doors. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's like going to the extreme. I call it. It's like going to the extreme, you know.
It's extreme to go get your chest split open and have somebody's hands put in your chest. That's extreme.
Yeah. No, but I call it extremely determined.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, it's like being obsessed in the right direction. Go for it.
Yeah. Be obsessed with connecting to spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, please go for it. Be obsessed.
Yeah. Svetlana, how you doing? Hi, Gino. It's always a pleasure to join Zoom. Day 47. Awesome. My spine is straighter. Awesome. I can do more in yoga than before. Awesome. So happy with changes. The toes are crooked. Can you recommend castor oil packs? Yeah, you can do castor oil packs, but also you can do get yourself some comfrey. It's called bone knit root, and grind it up to a powder. Make a paste, and then mix that in like a paste with. You can actually mix it with some oil or castor oil, and then wrap the foot in that, and leave it on there. Leave it on for a week, and change it. Leave it on as long as you can, right? And then change it, and put a fresh one on. But you can leave it on for like a week, no problem. I was sharing my story. My daughter burnt her arm at work. She works in a place where they prepare food, kitchen, and she was reaching over the oven for something, and another woman opens the oven with her arm over the oven, and the steam went up and burned all her arm. Yeah. So my son brings her here because and she goes, oh, I burned my arm. So I came over and I had some comfrey. First thing I did, I got some CO2 GANs and I sprayed the arm liberally. And then I made a paste with the comfrey and aloe. We have some fresh aloe, and I put it on the arm. Right away, the pain subsided. Right away, because you know how burns, they're not comfortable. I said then I gave her some extra to do another batch, but I should have just told her to left it on it, because the next day she peeled it off. She said it was painful, and then she put the new poultice on. And I don't remember how many days later, maybe 3-4 days later, it just started peeling like a suntan, and you can't even tell where the burn is anymore after about a week and a half. It was completely healed, perfect.
And there was no pain after a day, right?
And yeah, and her boyfriend actually went vegetarian recently, which is
she and her boyfriend.
pretty huge step.
Yeah, it's her first time ever. She used to be a meat eater. Your son, her brother, is vegan since he was born. So
yeah,
I'm sure he's influenced.
Like I've shared this before. When my son was born, was
his mother was.
What's the word I'm looking for? To get somebody pregnant, what's that word they use? It's slipping my mind. Conceived as a vegan, and he's never ever touched. He's always been vegan. My son.
Yes.
And then my daughter, when she was pregnant, the ex-wife decided to go back to her old ways of eating, and my daughter ate anything and everything. Just look at the difference in my two children. Just from the mother being in a vegan lifestyle and not being a vegan lifestyle. Just look at the difference. My son, he couldn't stand the smell of cheese or when he was a baby, he was growing up. It was incredible to watch. So my son's never eaten any animal products his whole life. But it's interesting how things can change. And another thing my son's saying, all his friends are all turning vegan.
Vegetarian.
Vegan. Yeah, because the information's getting out there now. There's no reason to eat our animal friends anymore. There's no reason, was never a reason to eat them, but and eventually we'll get to the state that we don't need to consume the plants either, because they are our friends as well.
Yeah.
But until we get to that understanding, as we go within, not out, until we get to that understanding, we'll use them because they're here to actually help us. And once we've come to the understanding, there's no need for them anymore. So Svetlana, I would do the comfrey. Comfrey root is very powerful. It can be used for many things, for broken bones, ligaments, torn ligaments, tendons, skin, burns. It's a wonderful, powerful herb. You could take it internally. Small amounts not for long periods, they say, because it's very strong. So if you're taking it in the tea? Yeah, if you're taking it internally, they don't recommend taking it for long periods of time. So maybe like a month or two on, and then take a break, and so on and so forth. But I don't know if I agree with them, because the people that make up all these rules and the effects, they're all eating, and they don't live a fasting lifestyle. So I'm just saying what the information that's out there about comfrey, where you can read it, because they say it's very toxic and so on and so forth. When you see what comfrey root can do, there's people who've had like 3rd, 4th degree burns and completely restored, no scars, no nothing, just using the comfrey. And the other one also for burns would be burdock root with aloe. That's also really good for burns. So there's so many herbs that we can use in the herbal kingdom. I remember Dr. Christopher. I had bought in his course years ago. He was another master herbalist, one of the great master herbalists of our times. I think he died in the 70s or 80s. And he was talking about a child that was crushed by an engine block. The whole body was crushed. And they wrapped this child up in herbs and completely restored. Because the medical said there's nothing they can do for the child. And bull crap. So, even for emergency, it's just that a lot of this has been lost. But there's everything you can do with herbology, and even emergency situations where bones are crushed and so on and so forth. How much more damage can you have than an engine block falling on a small child? You know how heavy an engine block is? It's hundreds of pounds. So there's going to be quite a bit of damage if that falls on you. So there's everything's possible. Like look at just what Svetlana's been sharing with us. Her spine straighter. She's going to do more yoga. Like, how does these things happen? On nothing. It doesn't happen with food. It happens with nothing. It happens through the soul. And once you gain that understanding, the trust starts getting more and more and more and more, because you start seeing the magic unfold. And then the understanding comes because the answers are in plain sight. And then more and more and more magic starts to unfold as we continue to live this lifestyle. I've never seen this happen with food. I don't care what diet you're on. Yeah, you're going to get some pretty amazing things happen when somebody comes from a sad diet and goes into a raw vegan lifestyle or fruitarian lifestyle. Of course, you're removing the obstructiveness to a much lower level. But the real magic happens when you let it all go, and you start seeing everything unfold. And then you go, my goodness gracious, everything's possible. Yeah, it is. You're talking about breatharian growing third set of teeth on nothing. No air, no water. I mean, no water, no liquids, no food, just air. Like, wake up. The answers are in plain sight. So, will we all get to that? No, but we have the understanding now, and we can work towards that, and we can do it part-time. We all can't do it full-time, living on light, whatever you want to call it, but we can do it part-time, and we can increase the part-time a little more as the years go on. If we commit to that and embrace it, no matter what happens, we got to continue to keep that trust. Because if we don't have the trust, guess what? We're going to listen to all the monkey minds, including our own.
The biggest. We're
going to be running to the hospital or the doctor to save us from the death that's going to be happening because of our fast and because of malnutrition and all that bullcrap. And we believe that stuff because we were ingrained with that stuff and we're programmed with that stuff.
It's the mainstream.
And it's not something that's simple to let it go because it's ingrained. It's in our program. So yeah, we believe it. We believe it. Yeah, of course we believe it.
And I got rid of my shingle hasn't come back. That's just one thing. Just shingles I had for 5-6 years. Every month it came.
And it's only 108 days.
108 days. It still hasn't come back. I don't think it'll ever come back. And what else? So getting to that place of bliss, right? You can do it through meditation. You can do it through all these other elements. But the fastest way is through the physical body, because you're cleaning out that GI tract. That's the key thing, because it's this cleaning out this middle bit so the body can go around healing itself and taking it back to its blueprint. You've got to do physical stuff because we're in the matter world.
You got to move.
Yeah. I've done meditation. I've done prayers. I've done so many, like everyone here, like, you've had spiritual things that have happened. But like for the longest part of being in that bliss is when you're fasting. And then when like I've never had that length of period, of being in the zone. And I've done glimpses of things, you see these things. I remember when we became born again Christians, this is years ago. This is when my husband Warren was sick because he used to have grand mal seizures. So we did that, right? And I put my hand up to be, love Jesus. And we did that. And then I actually saw orbs, and things like that. These things happen, right? Because it's a spiritual realm. I never read the Bible ever. And then all the things that I knew the verses. And then now when I go back and I think about just in regards to that Bible scripture, when Jesus talks about putting all the burdens on him, when you're fasted and you read that has a whole different meaning, a whole different concept. The vows are lifted up and over. It's gone, and you have opened that door, like you said, Gina. Like you've opened it. And when I hurt my hand, I was talking about it the other day about when I opened the grape juice bottle and it was glued on, and I got that big lump, and the doctors wanted to cut it off, and I said I was at my parents, and I said, I want to fast this, and that lump's going to go down. That lump, within 1 week, because I fasted, went down. Like it just zoop, and they wanted to cut it out. And so you go, why? And I had pain, when it happened. I didn't have pain. I didn't feel it. My whole thing just handed it over. Pain, I handed the burden over automatically. And I only learned that through doing the 108 in that fast, because the soul taught me, if you're handing your emotional burdens over, handing all that over, you don't have to carry anything anymore ever again. You don't have to be in suffering if you don't want to. I don't think you do.
It's a choice to live in pain and suffering and misery. It's a choice.
I love to hear Slavana's, because I've watched your interview, Slavana, and thank you so much for that. That was before I started my fasting, and it really helped me because you're very structured from what I can see and gather. And it taught me to say, like to be disciplined and structure yourself, surrender to the actual protocols, Don't worry about thinking in your head, oh, I'll just only have a bit of grape juice, but I'll mix it up with a juice fast or bring other elements in. Stick to the protocols, because if you surrender to it and you really are structured, then it teaches you discipline. Like it teaches you to, I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, it teaches you a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Simplicity is huge, huh? I love simplicity. I think, sometimes I feel like I want to add more of this, more of that, and so I skip something. But then I think, why did I even do that? Like it's much more fun to be simple and just to follow the protocol.
Well, our egos get in the way and all this and that.
Or I'm lazy or something, but I don't. Yeah.
It's like I don't have all the answers, but there's a lot of time and experience that went into what Master Fast is. It's not the answer to everything, but it's a guide, a roadmap for you to master in trusting your soul. Master in trusting your soul. It's just a roadmap, and every single aspect of it is there for utmost importance and a reason that most people are looking at everything as in the matter state of things. Whereas the matter state of things are the facade. We're not using any of them for the matter state of things. We're using them I've said this so many times, we're looking at the things in the higher order of things, because that's where everything's happening. The matter state of things are the facade to keep the ego satisfied in our belief system, because we're living in the matter state, and we work with the matter state. And it's the easiest access to get to the spirit through the physical, is my understanding now. That's my understanding. And a lot of people have agreed with me after doing long MFSs. So that's all it is. Can you do it the other way around? Of course, everything's possible. But far and few between I've seen people do it the other way around. And the thing that I keep saying, if you're in such a connected spiritual state, why would you be eating animals and this, that, and the other thing? I don't have that understanding. Well, why would you need to be doing that? For what reason? It's very strange and awkward. It's not. The answers are in plain sight for me, and it doesn't resonate with me. Because it's the not the secret, but the
key.
Yeah, the key is through the art of subtraction. It's not adding anything. So the things that we use are only there to help remove obstructions. That's it. They're not there for nutrition. They're not there for calories. They're not there for fats. They're not there for any of that nonsense stuff. A make-believe world that's been created through lab coats. It's not, none of those things are there for that. That's why we use dead juice. Physically dead, spiritually alive in the higher order of things, right? So that's how many people condemn me for, saying, oh, cooked juice can never be better than raw juice. I know. Not in matter state, no, you're right. But we're not using it for that. So that's why I say it's ludicrous to try and do a juice fast with cooked juice. It's ludicrous because you don't have the understanding of what it is, the power of it. And you want to play with that? Go for it. Not in our realm, because I don't need to deal with that nonsense anymore. I've been through that and paid the price. And other people have paid the price that didn't want to listen. because they thought they knew better. And it's okay, you know, people want to experiment, but we don't want to know about your experiments. How many people came to us that got themselves in trouble because they didn't follow protocol, and then they come to our group for us to save them? Like, yeah, okay, you know, this is the protocol. Why don't you follow it? You know, it's just it's human nature. We always trying to do shortcuts, and
complicated mind.
The magic pill doesn't exist, but the magic process is available to everybody. Just fast and do it prudently, and you'll have a much better ride when you do it that way. You know, the ones that have the biggest challenges are people that have extremely weak genetics,
and live a toxic lifestyle.
Yeah, live a toxic lifestyle, or been through the system of butchery, through heavy medical treatments and surgeries and stuff like that.
You know, and some things in the matter world are correct. Like if you go to a master's degree or a degree at university, you know, it's 4 or 5 years, maybe it's about 6 years to do a master's. But when you're actually studying or researching, you are fully engaged. So you're with the lecturers, you know, students, you're learning on the job, you're doing all that. So why wouldn't something like this be anything different? Because to be a master at being a master fast or learning, why wouldn't this training ground be something that you can't have?
That's a good point. To get your master's takes your 5 years or whatever, right?
It doesn't take 40 days or 100 days.
Now, this is the way I look at it, because the answers are in plain sight. It takes them to master program you 5 years. To be a master, it takes you decades. To be a master of connecting to your spirit takes you decades. Now, which way do you want to go? Do you want to focus on being programmed and having the masters program you, so you're a master at accepting a program, or do you want to be a master of your spirit? And that's only you can make that choice. So this is the way I look at things, because the answers are in plain sight when I look at things and how they happen. Like the biggest, the most challenging people I see to talk with, to try and not persuade, but try and open their doors, is ones who've been through heavy schooling.
Yeah.
Very difficult for them to understand what we're doing, because they've been programmed.
They question everything.
By a master.
They can't stop questioning things, you know. Yeah, it's harder for them to trust.
Yeah, just listen to the questions people ask, and you know right away what's going on. How does this work, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Doesn't matter. We don't need to know.
Read the protocol.
We don't need to know.
And
if you go through all the whole Facebook from the time I started sharing to now, I've gotten it more and more and more simple.
Yeah.
The kidneys aren't filtering this, and who cares? Doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
Yeah, just
doesn't mean anything.
Protocol.
Follow the protocol.
Yeah.
Trust.
Yeah.
That's how it's gone. Yeah,
that's how you get results. Yeah.
If I started saying that right at the beginning when I started sharing, people go, "What the hell is this guy talking about?" So I had to bring it into a way gently to attract some people to jump in and start experimenting and doing it for themselves, to see in the power of what this is. And slowly but surely I started simplifying it and opening it up to what it really is. Plasma always seeking balance. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's okay to be inquisitive, though. I think it's okay, a little skepticism, because the skepticism allows you to bring the true answers forward.
Never.
Yeah, sorry.
Always continue to always ask questions, but start asking questions through the eyes of a higher order, not matter state.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to fall in the trap in matter state, like I did.
Yeah, that's right. It's confusing.
So how do you change that? I'm always correcting catching and correcting myself from not from not falling into the trap of the matter state of things. Because it's a program, man. It's always running. You can't escape that freaking program that's in there. So the more you catch yourself, the less you'll do it, and the more you look at it in the higher order of things. Somebody's having a problem. Instead of saying, "Oh, the kidneys aren't filtering, the liver, the bowels," what's happening on the emotional side? How are your relationships? Anything going on that's out of the ordinary in your life? Because it's all coming from emotion. I don't care about the physical. Yeah, we can ask what you ate and everything, but why did you eat those things and so on and so forth? This is what I'm talking about, asking in the higher order of things, because it's always on that side.
And there's something I feel that some of us, it's okay to ask questions, but then, it's like when, let's say, Gina says, well, read the protocol again, because you haven't understood this part, or read the frequently asked questions or something. Maybe, it's time to look inside and say, okay, well, maybe I'm being too concerned here. Everything is written down, and that's more than enough information, and I can start listening to videos if I want to learn more, and this and this and that. It's nice to be able to say, okay, yeah, I get it. I want to work on myself, instead of asking more and more, and because there are people who keep asking more and more, and that's just confusing for them. You're not going to get all your answers. That's for sure. I think it's very important to...
The answers are going to come from within. They're not going to come from me.
First of all, if you're learning anything in school or master fast or anything, are you open to learn? This means that everything that you have learned, put it aside, and you're learning something new now. Are you open? If you're open, then don't ask questions, because obviously you don't know, you're learning, right? Don't ask too many questions. And if you want to learn a lot of things, then do more work, do more research, learn more videos, this, that, Ranjit, you did a lot of work before you started your fast, and during the fast as well. And you were not asking many questions. I'm just saying that's an ideal student, That's a great way to learn. You're open to learn. You put the monkey mind aside. You're open to learn. Another thing is, like, you accepted that Gino knows more than you do in this area, for example, that you're learning, right? Another thing is, are you willing to change? Are you willing to do what it takes? So these two components, I feel, make the difference between people who succeed and people who don't, and then of course there is more, you want to be there, connected, and so that you don't, get trapped back into the old habits. And there is more work, of course, after that. But with anything, you will see also, if you're in school, you will see the same thing. There are kids who keep asking questions. Stop it. Stop it. You want to learn more? Go study, do your homework, I see it also with my clients when I share something with them that they've never listened to. They never listen to. Some people are interested. Other people have absolutely no interest. And the ones who are interested are quiet. They don't try to challenge you. Yeah. It's a huge difference. There's a difference in personalities. Some people want to learn, some people don't. And, this is about learning for sure. Don't waste your time. If you don't want to learn, don't do this. Because it's definitely a lot of different things from the mainstream.
Yeah, what MFS has is the roadmap. What MFS can't give you is the experience, and it can't give you the
information, of course. Yeah, initially you get the information, and then the
access for you to trust in your soul. We can't give you that. You're going to have to do the work
and experience it,
to go through it and start understanding what that means.
Yeah.
To trust in your soul, not in my soul. We're all connected, but to trust in your soul, because that soul is connected to source, which we're all connected to. That's going to be through the experiential part of it. And you can ask a billion questions and you're not going to gain the understanding until you've done it. So it's okay to ask questions, but
don't confuse yourself. It's much simpler.
Most of the questions that we get are the ones that are all on the website answered, or been answered several times in the Facebook page or on the videos. But there's very, 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 very few questions that have not been asked. When something new comes, it's a nice challenge. But, there's not many, like, out of all these years, out of all the questions, there's not much that I couldn't relate to in some way through my experience, which is pretty interesting because of all the things that I've done.
Learned a lot.
So, like I said, I don't know it all, but if I don't know, I say I don't understand because I've never done anything like that.
And
so it's interesting.
Let's
take a break. Give me my thing in there on the bottom drawer.
What is it? I mean, it's always nice to ask questions. But when you get the sign that, okay, you're asking way too many questions, you're complicating it, then look within.
We're going to play with a little device, have some fun. I'm going to, let's see if I could do this. No, I can't.
No?
We're trying to screen share, do you know?
Sorry?
Do you want to play it through my computer?
Screen share.
No, he's trying to...
No, hang on a sec. Let me try something else here. New window. Oh, okay, I can do it that way. Great. Okay.
You did it yesterday, right? With the video.
Not on Zoom. Let's see here. Okay. Not yet. Let's silence out for a few moments. I'm going to play a 4-3-2 tone, and I'm going to connect this device to it that we made many years ago. We've had a lot of fun with this device. It sends out what people would know as scalar waves, which what we understand now is plasma. And we can direct this anywhere because there's no space-time, so it's instantaneously anywhere around the planet. We've tested it, and we've had pretty amazing results with it. So what I'll do is I'll send out some energy, some CH3 GANs I'll put on it. And all you need to do is, with your mind, direct the energy to yourself and just allow your body to, your mind and your spirit to feel the energy and accept it, finding balance within you. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. So we'll do that for about a minute or so. And let me start right now. I'll turn on the 4-3-2. You'll hear the tone for a bit until I plug it in, and then it'll go away. And I won't be able to, I won't be able to hear you until I stop. Okay, so I'll start right now. So you can still hear me, and that's the device. So just put it on, and this is CH3 GANs material. This is the one that the actual bottle, the first GANs material that I made, that I brought my dad from a critical state in the hospital back home in 5 days with this GANs right here. People say GANs doesn't work. Okay, for you, it doesn't work. I've shared the video of my dear friend Giovanni in Italy. I spent just over 8 months with him and his wonderful daughter and her boyfriend who got killed. And he completely helped her rebuild her mashed up brain. Her brain looked like it went through a blender. You can see the x-rays before and after, and completely regenerated her brain only with GAN's materials. You can watch the video. He explains how he did it. A complete severed hip bone, completely severed, completely mended, no operation, and you can't tell where the break was. And her whole body was completely smashed up from the severe car accident, they say.
Yeah, she was in coma for
She was in coma for a while. She's up talking again. She remembers everything. The last thing right now, they're trying to get her to walk better. But what a recovery. What a recovery. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Only with GAN's materials. I repeat that, no diet. Only with water. Not drinking.
energy.
Pain pads and so on and so forth. So what are we made out of? We're made out of GAN's materials. How much weight you are, that's how much GAN's material you have with you at all times. And you can access that. So this energy here right now is broadcast, and we can tap into it. Just like we can tap into any other energies. We can tap into the energy of the sun. We can tap into the energy of the moon. We can tap into the energy of Mars, of Jupiter, of whatever. We can tap into the energy of each other. We can tap into the energy of a plant, of a tree, of Mother Earth. We can tap into these energies through what? Through our intent and emotion. That is creation itself. And that is how everything you see and don't see has been created, through that process, through the art of giving, through the art of subtraction, giving away a part of yourself to gain more, because that's the way creation works. It's through that art of plasma love always flowing, and anybody can tap into it at any time. So with that said, I send this plasma love always flowing to help bring peace, balance, and correct conduct and through all of our souls, so we can bring this wonderful Mother Earth back to its pristine natural state, and we can all live in that blissful state in this realm. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. Of course it's possible. So just allow that and feel it. If you have any thing with you that you're drinking, direct the energy into that liquid. And remember how it tasted before, and then in the feeling and the structure and the sensation of it. And then after you've done this process, by directing the energy into the liquid that you're drinking, see if you notice any difference after. I get high when I turn this thing on.
Can we just keep it on?
We can keep it on, but then I can't hear them. So okay, it's instantaneously. As soon as you've done it, it's done. You don't need a long period of time. So I'll turn it off now, and we can talk again. So now I found the way how to do it. Okay. So does anybody have anything that they're drinking? Did they try that? It's very interesting working with, we're working with 432 here. That's the only frequency I work with. I don't play around with anything else. There's no need for it. I'm not looking for that instant gratification type of thing, because there's no such thing.
I really believe in you know, actually I have a challenge with the word belief, but anyway, but I understand what you're saying, because if you go to the highest order that we know right now, right, you know, which is plasma, 432, you know, the slow breathing, all those tools that we have, you're better off to go to, I think you better, why play around with stuff in between when you can go here, you know, right to the top. And because that energy, in the fields, like you feel it actually penetrates through all those other different levels. Because when you were talking about the 432, not skeptic, but inquisitive me, looked at all the other, you know, different types of music. And I did play them just to feel, you know. And then when I played the 432, it was like, that was it. And why do I need to understand all those others? I just need to understand that, because I haven't got enough time on earth to understand everything. I haven't got time.
No.
I just go to that, because then you're doing it. So look at you, 30 years of fasting. You know, Rana, and there's so many other people here doing it. And you just go, well, they're pretty happy. I think I want to be happy. And you just go to the highest thing. That's when I did, you know, when I set my intentions for, not for health. And I didn't realise that people did it mainly for health. Rana, when you said that what most people do, I didn't know that. And, you know, I set the intentions for the soul and be connected to the soul and the awareness. Because I just thought to myself, I just go to the top, because like the rest just sorts itself out. And, you know, instead of honing in on one thing, sometimes you need to hone in on single things. But, yeah, I really just resonates everything that you say. Like, just go to 432, go to GANs, go to plasma. I'm starting to forget about quantum physics now.
Yeah, well, it's all one of the same, but you know, all these things are it's just all within us. GANs materials, we're resonating. The field strength is at that. This is what we are. This is what we understand. You're just tuning back to that, because we're scrambled. We're in that dissonance of higher frequencies on this planet, vibrating out of sync in that imbalanced state. The higher you go, the more you're imbalanced, because it's stressing out the body. And if you stress out the body, everything else is out of whack. So we bring that back down, and so it's flowing. Instead of vibrating, 432, you're flowing. We don't look at 432 as a vibration or it hurts. It's actually a flowing state in that limitless, what do I call it?
Continuous.
There's limitless speed that you can access in that state. For example, they say, you know, speed of light, blah, blah, blah. You can travel with soul limitless times the speed of light. When you tap into that, limitless. There's no limit. There's no such thing as a limit. When you're talking plasma, the more you go direct in the center of soul, the more powerful. Like one nanoparticle of GANs material has the potential of the sun. How many pounds of that do we have on us? So what in the soul is the most powerful out of all of them. You know, look what it creates. Everything you see, it's created through soul. Powerful stuff. Never ceases to amaze me when you you know, start tapping into these things and watch the magic unfold. We can, you know, always choose to go back and listen to all the stuff that everybody else is listening to, or we can do things completely what seem extreme to everybody else and go where very few will ever go, and watch the magic unfold. And how long is it going to take? As long as it takes. Who cares? Who cares? 5, 10, 20 years? Who cares? If it doesn't happen in 10, 20 years, who cares? Keep going. Who cares? What else are you going to do? Go back to eating? You can do that. Nobody's stopping you. It's your choice. But we've done there, been there. Doesn't resonate with me. Yeah, I love eating, but it just doesn't.
It doesn't feed your soul.
It doesn't feed the soul.
Yeah.
Physical food doesn't feed the soul. That's a perfect way of looking at it.
At all. If anything, it obstructs.
You know what feeds the soul? Giving.
Life, the joy.
Whatever it doesn't matter what form. It's that
I mean, you know,
art of giving.
When you are being pure, you are giving, because it's just the energy is just.
They're doing these calls.
You're helping
and stuff.
Everybody around you.
The wonderful, beautiful comments we get from people continuously.
Yeah.
You know, we get the odd one here and there, whatever. Doesn't mean anything. There's one wonderful comment from somebody can neutralize 1,000 negative comments.
For sure.
Neutralize them. Don't exist.
Yeah, it's up to you to focus on this or that, you know, also. So let's focus on the beauty in life, because that's really what feeds us, you know.
Some stuff is just, my goodness gracious. Send them plasma love, please.
Send them plasma love.
Please.
Elevate, as you always say, Gina, elevate the soul.
Yeah.
But you said something to me ages and ages ago, and you won't remember it, but because I'm doing the 6 month, 180 days, that I actually, prior to MFS, I've always wanted to do a 6 month retreat, silent retreat. It's always been something I wanted to do. And then you said something, you don't have to go anywhere, right? You can just be where you are, because the imagination is incredible. And I kind of learned that during the MFS. And so with this, the way I look at this 180 days is my 6 month retreat. It's not going to cost me anything. And an imagination, and just because you can be anywhere, you don't have to be, I can smell the trees in the forest, and I can put on something on the TV with, 432. You can see the nature, and, you can do all that stuff anyway, just from your own backyard. You don't have to be
nature.
Yeah, so, thank you for that, because I'm going to give able to my time. Yeah,
like to do like a retreat sort of this and that. Yeah, it's all wonderful, but what do you do when you go back home? That's going to be the important part. The retreat, you had that short little experience, blah blah blah, and
the most beautiful place is your home. I love my home. I want my home to be the most beautiful place. And please, everybody can come and visit, and meet us, and I love it. It's nice to be comfortable in your own home. You don't have to be in another fancy place, and spend even if you have the money, you don't have to.
I've talked to people.
The snow is nature. Yeah. We go out, and when it's snowing, you can complain about it or you can enjoy it. It's all your choice.
Yeah, right? I've talked to so many people who've gone on retreats.
Shoveling gold. Yeah. And Gina was shoveling the gold.
Yeah. There's infinite gold everywhere. Just tap into it. That was a nice snowstorm we had. But
I like your beard. I couldn't work out which part was white. Was it the snow or was it your beard?
Yeah, it was snow. It was all covered snow here. It's both same color, but it was frozen. And that was after it thawed out a few minutes. But I've spoken to so many people going on retreats, this and that, and they felt great and everything. Didn't do anything for them in the long term. Didn't do anything for them. So why not invest in the time in yourself, where it's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, for instance. Not talking about money, but the time you put into yourself. Make the dedication every day for so much time to yourself. And get into that. When you get into that blissful state, you're not going to desire anything. Not that I'm saying that traveling is not fun. Traveling is fine. It's beautiful. Yeah. But you can get into that blissful state, which far surpasses any trip.
even
because you can go anywhere.
even in prison, you can make the best
Yeah,
out of it.
yeah. You can
In
be in
prison.
bliss in prison. You can have the best time because the only time you have is with yourself.
Yeah. Less distractions. I think that prison is a good
So
place.
it's perspective. What do you know, people, oh, I got to move to where there's better fruit and this. People change their whole lives to do that. And they get there, yeah, okay. And then 6 months, a year later, they're back in the same state after making these moves. There's nothing wrong with it, you know, but
yeah. I mean,
once you
if you can learn
connect
something.
into that state, it doesn't matter where you are in matter state. It doesn't matter.
The most important thing of all these meetings is to empower ourselves, you know. If we can empower you, you know, through a retreat or through, I think the best way is really to learn without having to travel. But if you can learn more traveling, you know, then that's another way. That's
Traveling is
totally fine.
wonderful. I love traveling.
You know, and retreats and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's about learning and, you know, being empowered.
Oh, David, hey guys, day 47 for me too. Loving MFS, so simple, awesome, David.
Is that since is this day you guys started on January 1st? Today's 47?
Approximately. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Amazing. You guys are doing amazing. Good for you.
Awesome. Yeah, it's yes. It's we go back to food. Why did I eat? Remind me, why did I eat?
Yeah, well, we will remind you.
It's fun, tastes good, but there's nothing
It's not the same.
quite like the taste of the nectar of God. You know, like it's just nothing compares.
Yeah.
Once you get that taste,
it's that food is different.
It's
what you
the
guys
most,
are eating is different.
it's the most addictive.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that's why you keep coming back to it.
And you know, we'll make all the excuses why we can't. All of them. I'm there, you know, been there, done that. It's okay, you know. We maintain the focus and we get up and we continue because we're dealing in a situation on this planet today where it's very difficult to live this lifestyle because it's not pretty much it's not accepted by mainstream. It's just not.
But you know, we are the lead.
We are the pioneers to lead the change we want to see, so people gain the understanding of the entrapment that we've all had through physical foods and through all the other things, and eventually, hopefully, we can see humanity make the switch and be in total blissful state. Stop killing each other. Stop beating each other. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I have no doubt that once the mainstream start tasting what we are tasting, you know, they will be in the same.
It's that what is it? The addictiveness of the realm of control and greed is what we're all stuck in.
Yeah. But once you get out of it and you get addicted to fasting, then
like just listen to some of the new laws.
You might be stuck in that one.
You know, they're doing everything in their power to try and take the right away from us to use herbs and all that. Look, it's insanity. It's just crazy. It's getting harder and harder to work with herbs everywhere. It's just herbs. They grow everywhere.
Yeah, we will not, you know, you can always grow herbs.
You walk in any bush, any forest, any jungle, there's herbs everywhere. You cannot be anywhere on the planet that you won't find herbs.
Even here in the streets, you know, you
they grow between the pavements. They grow everywhere.
This is how strong they are.
And they're trying to control that. Like, think about, and the people start accepting these laws and everything, and they support it. I'm going, are people that much brainwashed? Yep. They are. So we are the change, and let's bring out that consciousness so the people start tapping into that consciousness of being empowered through that plasma love always flowing.
Because the energy will affect each other.
It's going to affect them, because once we put it out there, it's there. It's there. You can't escape it. Just like they're bombarding us with all that negative crap, and this we can do the same. We don't need any special equipment or anything.
And the positive energy is much stronger than the negative energy. So
if there's almost 30,000 people in the group, can you imagine 30,000 people every day at 4:32 a.m. or p.m. put in 9 seconds to feed plasma love into the MasterFast plasma bank? Just imagine that 30,000 people every day at 4:32 a.m. and p.m.
Yeah, we pray for.
They've done experiments of meditating and all that, and reducing crime rates in cities. Why does it work? Because you're tapping into plasma love. It's intent and emotion. That's all it is. We've been hoodwinked and fooled and blinded by so much crap. So we're trying to bring it all back to the simplicity of what it really is, and enjoy the beautiful things. The material things, they're okay. Don't get attached to them. I spend way too much time on a computer for supporting people, and way too much time. But the drive is there to help guide people. That's what it is. So I don't allow that the negative things from that to affect me, because the intent and emotion is of higher order than this material stuff. Let's put it that way. When you're looking, people are focusing on the GMO and the chemicals on the food and the vaccinations. Forget about it. Focus on the solutions. Tap into the plasma love. That stuff will start disintegrating and be void before you know it. The more we focus on that stuff, the more we're going to get of that stuff. So, like Mother Teresa said, no, I won't come to an anti-war rally, but if there's a peace rally, I'll be the first one there, or something like that. Because she understood the plasma love always flowing.
What you focus on.
Sorry?
Always what you focus on. Always what you understand. Definitely that.
Your wish is your command. Always. 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 Even if you don't believe it, fake it till you make it.
Yeah. True.
Fake it till you make it. It's awesome. So man, I've been going too long. You guys got to talk now.
I was actually saying, before the 2-hour mark comes up, I had one down. I couldn't sleep last night, so I had one download because I knew this was going to be a great Zoom call. Self-reflection is me, but I am not self. So who am I? So why do we need to reflect? That's my download for everybody. There's heaps coming.
Yeah.
They told me to start, and I've already got my book, which I've kept. Right, great ideas it was, and I've got all my downloads written down because I have to try and capture. It said to me, Soul said to me, my 180 days, I'm just going to give you some soul state. And I thought, okay. Oh, at least I can do something while I'm in the realm, because I just don't know how to capture the downloads.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Ranjit, I honestly, I love how you're so excited about the 180 days. That is so awesome to see somebody so excited about fasting, especially when they're eating. You're so excited, and your excitement is like reaching us all. We pray for you. We pray that you reach that level of connecting.
I actually feel so graced like it's a cry. I cry for joy going into it, because we've given so much grace, and that's where that true free will is. I actually thought free will was in, making choices and decision, but the choices and decisions we're just making because from the programs and from, for me, it was always about pleasing other people, having approval, and all that, questions. Yeah. So when so when I'm in that realm, I'm free. Like I feel really free, and then I got my free will, and I feel so graced, and I feel blessed, and those are things that they talk about in all the scriptures, and it's all there. And we forget, and it's like when you clean out that thing, and 180 days to have that blessing. Like I know it goes longer, but to be in it, I know what it feels like. I know that door opening that you showed me. How can I ever not be grateful and blessed by that for the rest of my whole eternity? It's just, anyone that talks to me or messages me or whatever, I just say, come and master fast with me. I'm going to be 180 days and we can meet in the other dimensions. Let's go eat and feast in the other dimensions. We don't have to eat and feast here anymore.
Yeah, the biggest challenge that we see is most people are in that state of everything based on fear. You're not getting enough nutrition. Your blood pressure's too low.
Yeah, that's
you're deficient in that, blah, 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 blah. You don't eat, you're going to die. You don't drink, you're going to die.
And when you get the detox symptoms,
you're not getting enough calories.
Out,
Blah, yeah, your body's going in shock, and it goes on and on. And what happens? People actually believe it. They do. And what happens when you believe something? Your wish is your command. Either way. So how do we empower ourselves? Through the experiences.
Yeah, educate yourself.
A little bit at a time.
Be open to learn. If you're detoxing deeply, slow down, learn how to do it.
Allow the process and allow the metamorphosis to happen over the months and over the years.
Yeah.
You're not going to understand until 5-10 years go by. I can clearly see that now. 108 days, a lot changes, but most people are not going to start understanding what we're really discussing here in 5 to 10 years. That's the truth of the matter now, what I've seen in the last 3.5 years, and why people do what they do. Emotion is seed of all. And what's the most powerful emotion? Plasma love always flowing, because it's creation itself. So why would we want to tap into anything else? Tap into plasma love always flowing. And you always know you're going to find balance, because there's nothing else in that realm. It's only balance. The whole universe is structured on always seeking balance, or it would not exist, could not exist. And our physicality is an exact reflection on the operations of the universe. But what do? We focus on matter and obstructions and dissonance and imbalances, blah, 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 blah. And we fall into the trap of the illusionary diseases and all the other crap. And it's true, because we can see it in a microscope. We can see it in a test that they've done with whatever equipment. We can see it. Yes, yeah, look, I'm deficient in that, look. Right? And we fall into that fear-based trap. So how do you get out of that? You live it, love it, and experience it. And then your eyes will start opening up, and all those illusions will fall away one by one. Hey, man, I'm no different than anybody else. I still have that monkey mind with all that bullshit coming all the time. It doesn't stop. It's deep. in our program through all our heritage, all our lineage. That ain't going to go away easily. But as I explained before, if you think about a hard drive on a computer, every time you format it, the more you format it, the harder it is to retrieve the information. But it's always possible to retrieve the information.
And go back to your old ways.
Yeah. So the more you format it, the harder it is to go back to to access the information. So you fast more and more and more and more and more. So that information gets put it because you're finding more and more balance with it. So it gets put further back, further back, further back.
Almost
and eventually,
disappears.
yeah, it's in a place where it's almost found that balance where you don't have to worry about it no more. And you continue, and you continue, and you continue. And not only you're helping find balance for yourself in your sense, but all the
Creation.
all creation, all your lineage, all creation itself, because that's what we're by default. That's how we're created by default. Because what happens when you fast? It goes back to balance on its own in autopilot.
And I believe
it's a default program. It's we don't have to think about it. It's no rocket science.
We're so powerful that we can. We're so powerful, being part of spirit that we can create the reality. So as we change, we'll find that our environment is changing as well. And
it has to.
If you become blissful, the environment becomes. You're creating it.
What did Sadhguru say? Something along the lines that. People worry about all these planets and so on and so forth, how they affect you. He goes, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it the other way and say, everything that comes to me, I affect it.
Like astrology. Yeah.
Bring it back to balance. Give it plasma love.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. 5G, bring it back to balance. Give it plasma love.
Full moon, give it give it plasma love.
It doesn't matter what it is. Parasites, give them. How many people focus on, you got to kill all the parasites? That's how many times we've heard that. No. Give them plasma love always flowing, because they're there to help you.
They are there.
You just don't have the understanding. And if they're overtaking your physicality, it's because you're such in an imbalanced state.
That they have to help you.
Yeah. They think you're an actual corpse. So what do you need to do? You got to give more plasma love.
I feel because they do feed on like heavy metals and other wastes. So I feel like they're protecting us from dying so fast. They're, instead of having the chemicals and toxins in our tissues, damaging our tissues, they're concentrating them in their bodies, in our gut maybe. And what happens is we are protected from these toxins, and so it's much better for our bodies to have these parasites. And then when we detox, that's when they die, and we start releasing them and releasing the toxins as well. So these are the bad parasites, and the good parasites are even better. Like they have absolutely no negative effect.
There's a purpose for every single parasite, except politicians.
There's a purpose for them, so we can wake up.
So we can wake up. I'm just saying. What was it? Wednesday I was discussing some GANS materials in urine, which is a GANS material, like this. The whole new fad about urine therapy and all that. If you want to listen to it, I've discussed it in the Facebook Live on Wednesday. People are not seeing the answers in plain sight of what urine is, and the body doesn't make mistakes. It's
GANS.
It's body is a perfect creation. Perfect creation. Our understanding is not perfect. That's the only challenge. Do you want to drink urine? Not in my opinion. There's no reason for it. Absolutely not.
But it is GANS.
The body, of course. Your body's getting rid of it because it's excess high energy packets. It's in a high energy GANS state, just like the GANS material. Mm-hmm. So the body's dumping it because it doesn't need it. It's excess energy. Mm-hmm. The people they're claiming that they're getting benefits from urine, it's not the urine itself. It's because they're implementing what they've learned through dry fasting that's been put out there by somebody.
They're implementing the dry fasting?
They're implementing fasting in general. There is the urine. I've done urine therapy for almost a year. There's absolutely no differences in the urine. but you can use urine intelligently externally for certain things, and you can create pain paths and so on and so forth. But you don't need it. You just don't need it. When you start getting into living less and more lifestyle, you're hardly going to be urinating anyway, because you're hardly drinking and you're doing a lot of dry fasting and so on and so forth. Because your body's not
at that time, your body doesn't even need
forced to produce all these materials. It's not forced, because every time we eat, we're forcing it to work to be able to convert the foods that we eat and the liquids that we drink to GANS materials. It's forced to do it because it has to work with fields. It can't work with the matter state of things.
So it can be therapeutic, but it's not something that you believe is necessary.
I wouldn't drink it. I wouldn't drink it. If you're trapped on whatever area that you can't access, no food, no water, no nothing, you can extend your life on it if that was the choice. But anywhere on the planet, there's always something you can do besides drinking your urine. There could be a situation through a man-made created disaster, like you're trapped inside of a building that collapsed or something, and all you can get is your urine. Yeah, you can do that, but there's no reason, absolutely, with the new understanding of things of drinking your urine. But for anybody who wants to drink your urine, cheers. We have a whole different understanding now. And I like I said, I can only speak of things I have experience with. I did do urine therapy for almost a year, many years ago. I found absolutely pretty much zero effect from it.
You don't believe it's necessary. I mean, there are enough tools anyways.
No, not that I don't believe it's not necessary. I believe absolutely there's no reason to drink it. That's my opinion.
We have so many tools. I mean,
otherwise, creation would put a hose back into our mouth. Otherwise, he made a mistake.
Yeah, we have more than enough tools, anyways.
I'm not to make fun of anybody. It's just the understanding, the levels of understanding is just not there. That's all it is. It's and if they want to drink it, cheers. By all means.
The 3 days that we do at the end of the month. The 3 days big squeeze we do, which is a great tool, by the way. I look at it as my 3-day resurrection. So at the end of the month, you die and you awake.
Amazing.
That's so I look at it as that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Because you do, as you know, don't you? You know that, hey, like when you do your 3-day dry, how you got in your protocols, you feel you die, not dying, but the things are dying.
You can't explain. Wait till you start getting into the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days.
I've done 5.
You've done 5?
I've done a 5, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really loved it. I didn't push any further because I always have Rana in my head. And
little by little, we'll all get there. Just everybody can do it. It's just put the time and effort and do it slowly and prudently. There's no reason to rush. Absolutely no reason.
Yeah, be ready for it. No reason to rush.
Because especially from what we've seen with the state of what people are in today, it's stupid to rush it. It's stupid. Yeah. It's just there's no reason for it.
3 days a month is nice and powerful. I would say for a year, go like that, and then maybe next year increase it a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd love to do 6 months every year. That'll be wonderful, and finally get to more liquidarian. Would be just a beautiful bliss way to live.
You can.
I don't care how long it takes.
Yeah.
You can do it like all in a row in one shot, or you can eat every 48 hours. That's 6 months a year.
No, but it's nice when you go far. Right?
No, I'm just saying there's many ways of doing it. Like if you eat every 48 hours, that's 6 months out of a year.
Yeah, it's true.
Is that hard to do?
No. Well, that 900 months has got me going. I'm thinking to myself, how dare someone tell me I'm going to live for 900 months? I don't believe it. But I put it up there because it's the number 9. And I'm thinking, well, how many months of that do I not want to eat? Because I can live longer.
Yeah. Like, you know,
I'm half through it. I'm thinking, oh, I've got a lot of catching up to do.
like we look back, you know, from our, depending how what your age is or whatever, but we look back all the years, how many meals have we eaten and we're still not satisfied? That's how addicted we are.
Yeah, I like many times I'm like, I ate for the rest of my life, you know? I had enough for the rest of my life. It's like,
let's consume, let's tap into more plasma love, because there's nothing like tastes like the nectar of God. There's absolutely nothing that compares. And that's the whole thing that I strive for and strive to keep on a constant access, because you know, that feeling is just it's unexplainable. It's just unmatched by anything in this matter state. There's just nothing that comes close to it. No trip, no retreat, no place on this planet can match that feeling. Nothing. It doesn't even come close. So, you know, I've been posting a lot of animals and nature shots lately, and I'm just seeing all the magnificent beauty in everything. In everything. It's just,
yeah, it's nice to share such posts for sure.
It's plasma love always flowing, tapping into that, just watching, you know, the beauty about every single aspect of nature. That's why I've been posting it.
And you're spreading positive energy.
What do people, you know, they get that. And, you know, every once in a while I'll throw in somebody, you know, killing an elephant for no reason, you know, just to say, you know, we need to bring some balance to that. Let's tap into the other side. But the focus is plasma love always flowing, always, you know. And the more we can tap into that and maintain that, the more we're going to see that manifesting on this realm. No matter how awful and terrible things look like, focus on plasma love always flowing.
Focus on the beauty of things.
Yeah. Like, sorry?
Steve's back.
Oh yeah, Steve. Hey,
Emotional. I don't know what you did, Steve, but oh, you look a lot different actually. How was it, Steve?
Yeah, you got to unmute.
Twice. There it is. I'm on my little Kindle. I'm not on my computer. Had to find everything. Oh, it was a great meeting.
Awesome.
I'm a part of Alcoholics Anonymous, so this is an AA retreat. And it's 70 guys here. It's beautiful.
Oh.
70?
Very spiritual.
Oh.
Nice.
Everybody's eating and I'm fasting, so it's great.
You're not hungry. They are.
They're 36 hours. They're going to have 4 full meals.
Wow.
Full buffet meals in 36 hours. I'm like, my God.
Yeah.
I don't miss that.
Yeah.
I don't miss it.
And I would say, you're not hungry. They are, I'm sure.
They're famished.
Oh, absolutely.
They're famished.
Very, very spiritual place here.
Nice.
I mean, the fast has really moved this retreat into a whole nother level.
Yeah. Oh boy, oh boy. I post I put up today again, an older one, was the perception of people that it's how do I put it again? The good, the bad, the ugly. It's a perception that it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. But honestly, when you understand the process, it's all beautiful, all of it. There's no good, bad. It's part of the process.
Yeah, part of the journey.
Once you gain, and no matter how you feel like you're dying, how you feel, whatever, it's all part of the process. And we always come out stronger.
Like it's
always. Unless you do something stupid and go pig out on stupid things that you shouldn't be doing.
It's okay. No, but I mean, it's all part of like
but still,
elevating, elevating your soul, you know? Somehow it's all working to help you elevate your soul.
If you do it, you're doing it for a reason, to learn. And if you jump the fence, be responsible. Because nobody did it for you. You can only do it to yourself. So I'm just trying to say is every little aspect of it is all beautiful. You know, leaving this body is a beautiful process. Why do people frown upon death? Why are they fearful about talking about death and so on?
Not that we want to kill ourselves, suicide and all that, but yeah, you know, that's kind of
that's a different story.
Yeah.
But in what are people doing every day when they're eating? Committing slow suicide. What are they doing when they're smoking? Committing slow suicide. What are they doing when they're drinking alcohol and taking drugs to oblivion? They're committing slow suicide. But it's all accepted because it's legal. So fasting. Oh, you can't be fasting your kids. We're taking your kids away from you.
Yeah.
We're taking your kids away. You feed them raw foods. We're taking your kids away from you. Yeah, this is what we're living in. So how do we do that? What do we send them plasma love always flowing, because there's no reasoning with that type of mentality. There's absolutely you can't reason with that. If somebody's taking pharmaceuticals, you can't reason with them. I've tried many times and I can clearly see now that there's other entities influencing them. These people that are on pharmaceutical drugs, especially psychiatric drugs. My goodness, you'll talk to them. They'll be looking you right in the eye, and they'll be lying straight to you, and they believe what they're telling you because they have influences, whatever it is, whether it's from parasites or whether it's other entities influencing their outcome.
Both, yeah.
And we can only send them plasma love always flowing, because now we clearly see and we have an understanding. That's why it's very important for us to know if people are on these psychiatric drugs, because those are some of the worst things to deal with when you're cleansed, when you're doing detox. And I have firsthand experience after weaning my mother off of them. The universe had to bring it to me, because I didn't have a clear understanding of those things until I had to go through it myself, right? So yeah, it's interesting how things happen. They are the worst of the worst. They completely scramble and disrupt the chemistry of the brain. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So whoever's taking those, it's your choice. Take full responsibility for the outcome of those, the effects of those things, and take full responsibility if you want to wean yourself off them and clean yourself up, and all the process of detoxing those things out of the body, because it ain't fun. It ain't fun, but it's all beautiful. It's all beautiful when you have the understanding that everything is possible. You can detox them all out and bring balance back anytime you choose. How's that? Isn't that amazing? Because we've seen it. We've seen it happen. You know, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. So it's only going to get better, guys. It's only going to get better. There's no other way. How much worse can we see? Like the crap that's been going on is
we thank God for everything.
It's just, my goodness gracious. Do people actually do things like that? Why? But yeah, you know, it's a lot of emotions that people are carrying. A lot of emotions, a lot of imbalances, and they're very heavy weights for us to carry on our backs, and we do the best we can to help support people that are willing to make the shifts, because that's the only people we can support. The ones who say yeah and do complete opposite, we can't help them. Nobody can help them.
One thing I don't understand, Gino, and maybe Fastest here would understand, is that I find that people just, since I've cleaned out quite a bit, got a lot more to go, that people dump on you, emotionally just dump. you got a sign on your head saying emotionally dump on me, right? And maybe I'm noticing it, and maybe they were doing it before, but I'm finding it's actually really full on. And I don't get a look. I'll go, and I'm going, oh, I always say that word. It's very interesting, but try and put the monkey back on them instead of putting the monkey, me carrying the monkey. But you've got to be very aware of what's going on. But the emotional dumping from the marketplace and people, your families, massive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't notice it when I was in MFS, but I notice it when I'm eating.
Yeah. So what I find is when you make a choice and you're living this type of lifestyle, and you're tapping into that soul essence, the others around you, their souls are picking up on it.
Yeah.
And it's causing a dissonance in their physicality, in their being, and they don't like that feeling, and they're resisting it, and they're calling out to bring you back to their level, so they don't have to feel that resistance to change. That's the way I look at it.
I feel when we're fasting, we're giving more positivity, positive energy, and it's easier to deal with them, much easier. But when we're stressed ourselves, especially coming off a fast, it's a little bit more challenging. I feel emotionally for us and for them too. It's when it's hard for us, it's hard for them too. So they feel us, I guess, without noticing. Yeah, it's much nicer to be fasting for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh boy, what a ride! If anybody out there that doesn't have a clue what we're talking about, if they can just taste what we've tasted for 1 minute, they would kind of get an understanding of what we're doing, and it will come for the people that do it. So if anybody else has anything else to share, or we can call it a close. It's been a blast, as always.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing, honestly. Otherwise, I'd be doing it. Walking on a beach, sunset, yeah, beautiful. But when you're tapping into that plasma love always flowing, and others are tapping into it, we have the potential of infinite amount of suns walking on the beach. And that's the new understanding. Doesn't matter where you are. Because tropical island's wonderful, for people who want to live a fruitarian lifestyle. But when you're living a lifestyle less is more, it doesn't matter where you are, because you're not going to need much food.
I just got one more download thing I want to share.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a love one. Looking for love in all the wrong places. You were actually looking for love in all the right places, but you just didn't know it.
Yeah.
That's my last one.
Awesome. Okay, guys.
Amazing. Beautiful.
Been a blessing. Thank you again for joining us and being part of this new understanding, I guess we can call it. And let's just focus on keeping that plasma love always flowing, and embrace it, because the planet needs it more now than ever. Let's just look at what's going on. So it's time. So thank you all, and we'll see you back on the page, and
love you guys
next week.
So love you. I love you all. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, all.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much.
Or good day, wherever you are. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.